Oh, bless your heart for listening, child. Pull up a chair by this old rocking one of mine. Here in my little apartment overlooking the shimmering Georgia lake, the water's calm today, like a mirror reflecting back all the storms I've weathered. At 78 years old, I've got wrinkles deeper than the furrows in a plowed field, each one etched by joy, sorrow, and, yes, the kind of betrayal that could curdle milk. My name's Evelyn Thompson, Granny Evie to most folks, and if I sound a bit shaky, it's because this tale still grips my heart like a vice. It starts with a sip of coffee that tasted like ashes, but, oh, it goes back further, to the roots of a life I thought was sturdy as an oak. How could my own boy, the light of my days, turn poisoner? Settle in. This is my life story, raw as a scraped knee, and it'll take a spell to tell, but promise me you'll heed the lesson at the end about elders and the fragile threads of trust. Let me whisk you back to the 1960s, when I was just Evie, a wide-eyed girl from a dusty farm town in Iowa, America, was buzzing with change. Kennedy's Camelot, the space race, folks dreaming big. I met Harold at a county fair, under strings of twinkling lights, the air thick with popcorn and cotton candy. He was dashing in his pressed shirt, with a grin that promised forever. We danced to Elvis on the radio, whispered vows in the hayloft. Married at 19, we packed up our dreams in a beat-up Chevy and headed south to Atlanta for his job at the Ford assembly line. Georgia welcomed us with its humid hugs and sweet tea, and soon enough little Jack arrived in 1968, a squalling bundle with Harold's eyes and my stubborn chin. Those early years, pure honey. We'd picnic by the Chattahoochee River, Jack giggling as he chased fireflies, Harold barbecuing ribs while I baked peach cobblers. I felt like the luckiest woman in the USA, building a home brick by emotional brick. But cracks appeared, slow at first, like hairline fractures in a dam. Harold started staying out late, blaming overtime, but I smelled perfume on his collar, cheap, like regret. Money vanished from our savings. He'd gamble on horses or cards, chasing that American dream of quick riches. Arguments erupted like summer storms. "Evie is just alone," he'd yell, slamming doors. I'd cry into my pillow, inner turmoil churning. Did I marry too young? Was I failing as a wife? Jack, only 5, would peek from his room, wide-eyed, and I'd scoop him up, whispering, "It's okay, baby. Mama's here." Deep down, fear gnawed. What if Harold left? In those quiet nights, I'd pray to the good Lord, begging for strength, my heart a whirlwind of love tangled with doubt. Then, one rainy evening in 1975, it happened. Harold packed a suitcase while I begged, tears streaming. "I can't breathe here, Evie. Need space." He drove off into the night, taillights fading like dying stars. No note, no call, gone, poof, like a bad magic trick. Rumors trickled in, some floozy in California starting over. Abandoned at 29 with a 7-year-old and bills piling like autumn leaves, the pain, like a knife twisting slow, betrayal from the man who'd vowed, "Till death do us part." Inner turmoil raged, anger at him, shame at myself for not seeing it, terror for Jack's future, but I straightened my spine, American grit kicking in. Took 2 jobs, waitressing at Denny's by day, sewing dresses by night. "We'll make it, Jackie," I'd say, hugging him tight, hiding my sobs. Raising Jack alone was my crucible, forging me tougher than steel. He'd help set the table, his little hands careful, and we'd share stories over mac and cheese, me spinning tales of pioneers and perseverance, him dreaming of being an astronaut or president. School plays, baseball games. I was there for everyone, cheering till my throat hurt, even as exhaustion clawed at me. But signs flickered, subtle at first. In his teens, Jack started skipping classes, hanging with the rough crowds in Atlanta's back streets. He'd come home with trinkets, watches, bikes, claiming found him. I'd confront him, heart pounding. "Jack, honesty is the bedrock of a man." He'd flash that dimpled smile so like Harold's and promise better. Inner turmoil bubbled. Was this my fault? Did Harold's leaving plant seeds of deceit? I'd lie awake replaying memories, teaching him to tie shoes, reading Bible stories about the prodigal son. Hope flickered. Maybe he'd outgrow it. College came. I scrimped for tuition at Georgia State, but he dropped out after a year, chasing business opportunities. That's when the scams slithered in like snakes in the garden. By his 20s, Jack was slick as a used car salesman, peddling fake jewelry at flea markets, charming folks out of wallets with silver-tongued lies. "Mom, it's just entrepreneurship," he'd say, winking over Sunday dinner. I'd feel a pang, that maternal ache, love warring with disappointment. Neighbors whispered, "Evie's boy took my savings on a sure thing." I'd defend him fiercely, but inside, turmoil stormed. Regret for not being stricter, fear he'd end up in jail, sorrow for the boy lost to greed. Then Lisa entered the picture in the 90s, a whirlwind from Savannah with bleach blonde hair and a laugh like tinkling bells. She worked as a real estate agent, all ambition and acrylic nails. Jack brought her home for Thanksgiving, and she hugged me tight. "Granny Evie, call me daughter." We bonded over recipes, her mama's fried chicken, my cornbread, but cracks showed. She'd eye my china cabinet greedily, whisper to Jack about upgrading. They married in a splashy ceremony I couldn't afford but paid for anyway, my heart swelling with hope. Maybe she'd steady him. Post-wedding, their business boomed, or so they said. Investment seminars in our living room, wine flowing, folks signing checks for phantom real estate flips I'd overhear. "This Mark's loaded. Hook 'em good." Mark? My stomach twisted. Inner turmoil peaked, betrayal brewing under my roof. I'd confront Jack. "This ain't right, son. Remember the values I taught?" He'd pat my hand. "Times change, Mom. We're building a future." Lisa'd chime in, saccharine. "We love you, Granny. Just trust us." But trust eroded like riverbanks in a flood. Late nights, I'd pace, mind racing. Was I blind, enabling? The house felt haunted by Harold's ghost, another abandonment looming. My hip gave out in 2015, surgery leaving me hobbling. They moved in to help, but it was a takeover. My sewing room became their den of deceit. Laptops glowing, cash stacks hidden whispers echoed. The old lady's policy, worth a mint. Curiosity clawed. One night I crept downstairs, heart hammering like a war drum. Peeking through the door, the scene seared my soul. Jack and Lisa bathed in lamplight, counting bills. "She's a drag," Lisa sneered, voice venomous. "That insurance from your runaway dad? Ours, once she's gone." Jack laughed, cold, mirthless. "I've got the stuff, undetectable in coffee. She fades, we cash in." Fades? My boy, plotting murder? Emotions crashed like tsunamis, shock freezing me, then rage boiling, sorrow drowning. Tears blinded, I staggered back, collapsing upstairs. Inner turmoil raged hurricane force, love for the child I'd birthed, clashing with horror at the monster he'd become. Regrets flooded. Should have left Georgia, remarried, disciplined harsher. Fear gripped. Would they succeed? I prayed feverishly, Bible clutched, whispers pleading for deliverance. Betrayal's sting? Deeper than Harold's, a mother's wound gushing morning came, sun mocking my dread. Jack handed the coffee. "Extra strong, Mom." That sip, bitter betrayal incarnate. Dizziness slammed, vision swirling, body betraying like my family mug shattered. I gasped. "Jack? Poison?" He knelt, eyes soulless. "Rest easy." Lisa hovered, dialing deceit. Pain ripped, physical fire, emotional inferno. As darkness tugged, turmoil peaked. Forgiveness? Hatred? In that abyss, I saw Jack's baby face, twisted now by greed. But grace intervened. Mrs. Jenkins burst in, sirens saving me. Tests screamed truth, arsenic traces. Police unraveled the web, frauds galore. Jack imprisoned 15 years, Lisa probation, spilling beans. I healed, body and spirit, in this senior haven child, the moral. Elders are life's anchors, storm-tossed, wisdom-rich. Betray them, and cruelty rebounds like a boomerang. Cherish us. Our stories weave the fabric of who you are. Don't poison love's cup. Sip gratitude instead. Now, dry those eyes. Life's too short for unending sorrow. 1.4 seconds. Expert upgrade tea